Man, that was bad. Folks, that was bad. We got 5 hours of some of the absolute worst basketball I think I've ever seen in my life. Here you got four number one seeds. And somebody will come on here in the comments and tell me what a great defensive performance. People, give me a break. Give me a break. If you thought that was great defense in these two games, you need your head examined. That was bad basketball. It was bad offense. It was uh, somewhat bad coaching. I'll tell you that the only coach who I thought coached well was Dawn Staley because at least she came up with a game plan that made it harder on UConn. But it was inept offense. It wasn't great defense. It was inept offense in both games. We were on live for both games, over 5 hours on live tonight, and it became embarrassingly laughable. And if this was something that you want to promote to people as an example of what the best women's basketball has to offer, then you would have been better off telling them to not watch tonight's Final Four because that was some of the worst basketball I'm telling you right now that I've ever seen at a Division One level. I mean, that is some of the worst basketball that I've ever seen at a high school level. Hell, I've watched some little league middle school games that were better than this. This was certifiable dog shit. And at the very least, Corey Close, the coach of UCLA, had the dignity and the ethical duty to tell us, I'm very sorry that our fans have to watch this because we're not doing our part. I appreciate that because that was absolutely tragic ball. Let's talk about it. We got two Final Four games. We're doing it in one video. The early game, South Carolina wins over UConn 62-48. They break UConn's 54-game winning streak. So everything that I said last night on my live obviously is dead and buried. Sarah Strong will not be a four-time NCAA champion. We're going to have to live on forever hearing how amazing Brianna Stewart is and all that nonsense. Sarah Strong played like certifiable dog shit tonight. And you know what? AZ Fudd played like certifiable dog shit tonight. And you know what? Geno Auriemma coached like certifiable dog shit tonight. His rotations were certifiable dog shit. From the moment he took Sarah Williams out of the game 4 minutes in and she had put up your first two buckets, and then he magically, for some reason, takes her out of the game, and you're sitting here saying, why are you doing that? And you're watching this offense start up with Sarah Strong 25 feet from the basket pretty much every damn time. Not in the paint, not commanding double teams, not – I mean, if this is how they played all year – I don't remember it. Sarah Strong to me is more of a post player than she's a perimeter player. I know she shoots 40% from three, but goddamn, she started every possession 25 feet from the rim. They did not get her the ball in the paint at all. When she had barbecue chicken on her, Raven Johnson guarding her in the paint, they did not dump the ball into her. I do not want to hear that Raven Johnson. If I hear another person tell me Raven Johnson set the tone tonight, you need to shut the fuck up. I heard that dumbass shit on the ESPN thing tonight as well from Scott Van Pelt. Do not tell me Raven Johnson set the tone tonight. I don't want to hear that nonsense. Raven Johnson, the same player who said that women's basketball players are more skilled than NBA players. She was 1 of 6 for 2 points and 4 turnovers and 1 assist. And she's the point guard. And you're going to tell me that she set the tone tonight? No, she did not. You know who set the tone tonight? Agat Maker off the bench. You know who set the tone? Tania Latson, the way she was aggressive and attacking. Raven Johnson flat out fucking sucked. She flat out sucked. And she's guarding Sarah Strong. Yeah, she was fouling Sarah Strong. She was putting 2 arms around Sarah Strong, and they weren't calling it. And I'm not here to complain about referees in this UConn South Carolina game. I'm really not. Even though the foul discrepancy was 17-8, and even though one team took 22 free throws and the other one took 6, I completely agree with what Geno Auriemma said end of the third quarter. They were getting mugged. Sarah Strong got fouled all game, but she still played like shit. Raven Johnson committed her second foul, clearly shoving AZ Flood out of bounds with 8:30 to go in the first half, and she sat the rest of the half. And South Carolina stuck with UConn. It was 26-24 at halftime. And we're sitting here on the live saying, God, this was awful. This was awful. And in the second half, Raven Johnson didn't do anything. She had a couple steals. She had a steal where she had a layup. Okay, that was her one bucket. Do not tell me that she set the tone for shit. AZ Fudd missed open shot after open shot after open shot. She was building houses. She was shooting up air balls. She shot an air ball from 10 feet out. I don't want to hear. She was 3 of 15. That ain't got shit to do with Raven Johnson. She was missing open looks the entire fucking game. I'm not crediting anybody defensively in this shit. This was bad offense. This was bad offense. Both ways, no less. South Carolina shot 38%. UConn shot 31%. But South Carolina did one thing that really had an impact, and they punked UConn on the glass. Absolutely punked them. 47 rebounds to 32. That was an ass kicking on the glass. You got 10 points out of Ashlyn Shade, who for some reason doesn't understand that if you're going to shoot a 22-footer, get your goddamn foot behind the three-point line and don't shoot it with a toe on the line. She did that twice. Blanca Quinones had 7, largely ineffective. They cut a 10-point deficit to 40-39 and then gave up 4 straight points to end the third quarter to go into the fourth quarter trailing 44-39. And they never made it close. I think they got it 46-44 and then gave up basically a run that put the whole game away. Tania Latson was aggressive. She was only 3 of 10, but she shot 10 free throws and she was 10 for 10 from the line. Agat Maker off the bench had 14 points. She had 18 in the regional final, and she had a bigger game today because in the first half, she carried South Carolina. Joyce Edwards finished with 11 and 8. Nothing exceptional, but again, they out-rebounded like crazy. Medina Ocott only had 6. She had 9 boards. It was not a pretty game. There was nothing really attractive or aesthetically pleasing to it. But if I hear another person tell me that Raven Johnson set the tone, y'all are out of your fucking minds. And I'm sure the South Carolina fans are going to come on here and give their opinions. I said the way South Carolina wins is if Tania Latson and Joyce Edwards go off. Now, they didn't. But Latson probably was the best player on the floor today, her and Agat Maker. And down the stretch, the ball went to Tania Latson pretty much every time. In fact, Raven Johnson wasn't even on the court until the final 30 seconds when they put her back in there to dribble the ball out because they wanted to make it look like she had something to do with the fact that they won this game 62-48. I don't understand the substitution patterns that Geno Auriemma had. I don't understand his game plan. I don't get why Sarah Strong's 25 feet from the basket most of the game. I don't understand any of it. I picked UConn to win. I picked them to go undefeated. I picked them for this all year. I picked them. I stand on my pick. I still think they're better than South Carolina. But you know what? It's a 1-game sample size. And they both played like shit, in my opinion, largely. Neither team played well. Just South Carolina played a little bit better. And UConn, yeah, played the worst game they've played all season. Played the worst game they've played all season. 48 points. And this is what you put out. I mean, I'm sorry, but this is what women's basketball is putting out to the public and calling their best teams. And you thought this was the worst of it. And then you got at the end of the game, Geno Auriemma, pissed off, end of the third. He says they're fouling the shit out of us, tearing the jersey. Sarah Strong tore her own jersey, bro. You should really not speak on something before you speak on it. Now, if Sarah Strong didn't tell him I tore my own jersey, well, that's on Sarah Strong too. And even in the post-game press conference, he still didn't acknowledge that Sarah Strong tore her own jersey. Don't know if he never saw any video on it. I have no idea. Maybe Sarah Strong still didn't tell him. But yeah, that sounded pretty stupid. But I do agree that they were getting killed. I do. I agree they were getting. But you know what? Play through it. It is what it is. It is what it is. That was bad. And now all the Paige Beckers people come and say, they needed Paige. No, they didn't. They needed a better game plan. They needed their best players to not go 7 of 31. And a lot of that shit was wide open. AZ Fudd in particular, I don't think she took a contested shot all night. I'm going to be serious. I don't think AZ Fudd took one contested shot the entire night. She was atrocious. She was atrocious. And as I expected, she and Strong played literally the entire game. Strong played all 40. Fudd played 39. And yet people want to draft Fudd number 1. I don't think this has any impact on her draft status, but I don't think she's a top 5 pick. I think she's a role player in the WNBA. I've always thought that. She's a shooter. When you make her dribble the basketball, she can't shoot anymore. She has no ball handling skills. She plays really good defense, but she has 0 ball handling skills. 0. She cannot dribble. She cannot dribble. And if she can't shoot, then why the hell is she on the floor? But they still had a chance. They were down 46-42, and they let go of the rope. That's simple. They let go of the rope, and they never got closer than that again. So South Carolina will advance. Now, at the end of the game, Geno Auriemma, little temper tantrum. Mad that Dawn Staley, according to him, never shook his hand in the pregame handshake. There is video that shows all the coaches shaking each other's hands. But then Geno Auriemma, there's an official head coach handshake, and he's standing there at midcourt. They announce it, and Dawn Staley never comes up to shake his hand. So he's pissy about it, and he gets a temper tantrum about it. And apparently, at the end of the game, he felt the need in the end of the game handshake to go shake Dawn Staley's hand and then like scream at her. And then she screamed at him, and it went back and forth. And in the post-game press conference, he sits here and he says that, well, you know, in my 41 years of coaching, you shake hands before the game. I'm waiting for her for 3 minutes. She never comes. And whatever else the fuck. And he's having a temper tantrum. Mind you, if they had won that game, do you think he's having the same type of temper tantrum? Like, are you really holding this inside of you for the entirety of the game? You know Dawn Staley, bro. You probably know her pretty goddamn well. And you're both competing, I get it, but you're a fucking that's the one area of men coaching women's basketball. That was some serious feminine ass energy. That was some I'm on my menstrual cycle bullshit. Men coaching women's sports, it always is weird to me because I think those guys are mad feminized. They have femme mentality. Because men don't react that way to bullshit. Like you're sitting here, bitch. You're mad 40. You're mad 2 hours after the fact that she didn't shake your fucking hand at mid-court before the game. Are you serious? No, motherfucker. You're mad because she beat your ass. And if you had won that game, you wouldn't have thought twice about it because she'd have walked through that goddamn line and she would have shaken your hand. And I don't even like Dawn Staley, but that shit from Geno Auriemma tonight was pathetic. Some people might call it racist. Some people might call it sexist. Some people are saying to me, I got a phone call saying, I don't know, but, would he have done that to a white coach? Would he have done that to a white coach? Would he have done that to a man? I can't speak on that. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I can't be sure. But the fact that that gets brought up, this is the dynamic of this country. But he acted like a bitch. Period. And even UConn fans know he acted like a bitch. And then he walks off the floor, doesn't shake the hands of the players for South Carolina, doing literally exactly the same thing that he was mad about with Dawn Staley. That's a bitch move, bro. That's soft. Now, AZ Fudd is done. Sarah Strong is going to be a junior. What is UConn going to do? Well, hell, will Geno Auriemma be back? I got to wonder now. I thought last year if he had lost, he would have retired. And then I thought after he won, I thought he should have absolutely retired and gone into the sunset as a champion. Well, now he's in the bad side of a loss after going 38-0 and 54 straight wins and playing as bad a game as they have played in probably his entire career coaching. I don't know that UConn's ever played that bad. I mean, in 35 years. I don't know that UConn's played as bad as they played tonight in 35 years. I just don't know. Now, looking at the second game, folks, it couldn't have possibly gotten worse than the first game, right? It couldn't possibly be worse. Texas and UCLA said, hold my beer. They said, hold my beer. Because they absolutely were worse. And I don't just mean a little bit worse. I mean, they were far worse than UConn and South Carolina. When I say back-to-back, two of the worst basketball games I've ever seen in my life, and we got them on the same night in the Final Four. The supposed best teams in the country. Again, do not tell me about defense. I watched Madison Booker go 3 for 23 and keep on shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting to the point where they had an actual chance in the final 30 seconds of this game, a game they should not have been in, and Madison Booker has a fast break, and she's got one person back there waiting for her, and it's Lauren Betts, who's 6'7" tall. And Madison Booker thinks it's a good idea to attack the rim one-on-one with some reverse fucking layup and gets her shit swatted to next week by Lauren Betts. Lauren Betts, the player who showed up, who reminded you why she should be the number one pick in the draft that I've been saying for 2 goddamn years. She is the most physically imposing, dominant presence in college women's basketball today. 16 points, 7 of 10. She didn't even shoot enough, in my opinion. 11 rebounds, 3 block shots. That last block sealed the game. It was 47-44. They could have run that shit back out, looked for a 3, or they could have gotten a better shot. But Madison Booker was desperate to be a hero as they were down 13 with 4.5 to go, 45-32. She blocks the shot. They get fouled on the rebound. And then they got to foul multiple times just to get UCLA into the bonus. UCLA all game long cannot even inbound the basketball. But let's go back in this game right here. By the way, UCLA winning 51-44 over Texas. 44 points. They had 6 points in the first quarter. You want to know what UCLA did in the second quarter? They had 6 points. This game was 20-17 at halftime. This game was 31-28 at the end of 3. It literally took the entire game for some offense to happen. UCLA scored 20 points in the fourth quarter, which was the amount of points they had in the first half. And Texas had 16, which was one less than they had in the first half. UCLA jumped out on top of them. UCLA played big. They were in control. They got the ball in the bets. She scored around the basket. Vic Schaefer had his jacket off within like 5 minutes of the game starting. Madison Booker hits one bucket early on and then misses, I believe, 17 straight shots. I mean, she could not hit the broadside of a barn. And then at the same time, Jordan Lee, shooting guard, couldn't do anything until late. She finally hit a couple of buckets, but she was atrocious in her last game, 2 of 17, looking very, very similar to that game. Their leading scorer was Kyla Oldaker off the bench, the big girls, 0-0. She finishes with 11, 5 of 10 with 7 boards, 6 of them offensive rebounds. Rory Harmon had 8 points at halftime and did not score again in the second half. Remember, I told y'all she wouldn't have another 26-point game. I told you she wouldn't have another 26-point game. She was trying to. She was trying to because nobody else was doing shit. Bria Cunningham, 0. Justice Carlton, 7. And that was 7 straight, I believe, in the third quarter. Aaliyah Crump had 5 off the bench. UCLA, they played big, but they didn't play big enough. They turned the ball over like it was a damn hot potato. Charlize Ledger-Walker, holy shit. I mean, how many times did she give the ball away? Kiki Rice, how many times did she give the ball away? Gabriela Jaquez was just gift wrapping the ball to the other team. And then Jana Nipkins had 4. I mean, you had 18 turnovers between those 4 players. 18 turnovers between those 4 players. The ball handling was atrocious. Ledger Walker didn't score a point. Kiki Rice finished with 11. Thank God she can make free throws because she didn't do shit else most of the game. She did hit a big 3. She did hit a big 3 when Lauren Betts got triple teamed under the basket. I thought Lauren Betts first got fouled. Then I thought she traveled. They didn't call either of them. She kicks it out to Kiki Rice, who drains the 3. I think they made it a 10-point game or a 7-point game or whatever it was at the time. That was in the fourth quarter when they were finally peeling away from them. They went up 45-32. And I said on my live, I'm like, this game is not over. UCLA will find a way to fuck it up somehow. And they did just that. They could not inbound the basketball. They called 3 timeouts because they could not inbound the basketball. I mean, you cannot make it up. It was like, do you not have a play to do it for an inbound play? They're going 5-on-4. They're not guarding the inbound person. So guess what? You need to set some screens to get someone moving. It was like UCLA wasn't trying to inbound the ball. Early on, Nipkins hits a couple shots. She had 10. Hawkins goes for 10. Rice has 11. Dugalich has 4 off the bench. Again, I thought UCLA would go with a shortened bench. They did. They only went 7 deep. Sienna Betts played 6 minutes. She did nothing. But man, UCLA was pretty much in control for most of the game. Like, you never felt like the game would get out of hand. Texas finally got the game down to 29-28 end of the third quarter, and UCLA throws the ball deep, and Kiki Rice, I think it was Kiki Rice, or Gabriela Jaquez gets her legs taken out by the Texas player. They make it 31-28, and that was as close as it got. I don't think it got closer than that in the fourth quarter. I think that was pretty much it. I think they got within 2, but I don't think they ever got back to 1. But that was a brutal performance. And Corey Close at the end of the third quarter says, I apologize to the fans for having to watch this. Like, I mean, that's how bad that shit was. They turned it over 23 times. That was the only reason Texas was in this game. Because if they hadn't turned it over so many times, UCLA would have won this game by 15 or 20. That was the worst Texas performance in ages. Madison Booker, at one point, she was 1 for 19, I think, or 1 for 18. She finally hits a short jumper off of an inbound play, and then she continues to try to be a fucking hero. She sucked. And then yet she didn't create for anybody else. Old Acre made it hard for Betts, but realistically, Betts is just too big. She's too big. She's a tough cover. She has great touch around the basket. For people that have not seen Lauren Betts play, I hope you really took a look at her tonight. She has amazing touch around the hoop. She hits shots, man. Y'all think she's just some layup factory. Nah, man. She's running with some post games. Could she be a little bit faster with it? Yeah, she could. I think she takes too much time at times. But I thought UCLA would win this game. I picked it 68-64. Clearly, the score wasn't what it was. I think we'll get more points on Sunday when UCLA plays South Carolina. I do. I think there'll be more points scored. I would be shocked if we're playing some game in the 50s again. I don't think it'll happen. But I think there's a lot of coaching that had to get done in the next day. And one, UCLA's got to put in some freaking out of bounds plays. Because if I'm Dawn Staley watching that, I'm going to be pressuring UCLA from the tip. I'm going to be running a full court press, man-to-man full court press from tip. Because I'm going to make UCLA get that ball in bounds. Because if I turn them over a bunch, I'm going to win the game. I'm going to win the game. I mean, I would be pressuring from the jump. But Jesus Christ, this was 51-44, the over 95 total points in a Final Four. And these are the best teams in the country. And no one can sit here and tell me this was defense. This was atrocious offense. In this game, the foul counts were closer, 16-12. Free throws, 12-5. I mean, a few of them were late in the game when they had to foul. But I was so unimpressed with UCLA tonight. I mean, Texas obviously completely unimpressed, but I'm still waiting to see Kiki Rice have a performance. Charlize Ledger-Walker should not dribble the basketball. She shouldn't dribble the basketball. She looks like she's a walking turnover. You need Nipkiss to hit threes. She hit a couple. She needs to hit more. Jaquez needs to hit some shots from the perimeter, not just layups. But that was bad, man. But hey, that was a competitive fight right there. But it was bad basketball. If I hear another women's basketball player tell me that the women's basketball players are more skilled than men, don't tell me that shit again. From the turning the ball over to the fumbling the ball to the missing the wide open looks it's bad. It was horrid tonight. I feel like I'm owed money for having watched that shit tonight. And I plan on doing a live on Sunday. I don't know anymore. I don't know that I'm willing to sacrifice 2.5 hours of my day on Easter Sunday not to watch it, but to do a live on it. Because one, it's Easter. I'll be with my family. And 2.5 hours on a Sunday afternoon is the middle of the day. It's a 3:30 game. What's it, 3:30 game? I believe. $3:30. So, and by the way, South Carolina's a 2.5-point favorite. I'm shocked by that. I'm shocked by that because Texas beat the crap out of South Carolina, and UCLA just made Texas look like they never played basketball before. People can say these are some of the best defensive teams in the country. I don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it. But again, if you tell me Raven Johnson did something special tonight again, I'm going to smack y'all mamas. Like, stop it. Stop it. I don't want to hear that crap. Don't want to hear it. But yeah, we have a national championship game set up. South Carolina and UCLA. Who y'all got? Leave y'all thoughts in the comments. I will drop a preview for the game tomorrow. I don't think South Carolina can out rebound UCLA the way they did UConn tonight. And I think that's a major component to the game for South Carolina to have a chance to win. But we'll go a little bit deeper into it tomorrow. In the meantime, congratulations to both South Carolina and UCLA. Don't matter how you get there, just that you get there. Doesn't matter how ugly it is, just that you win. And the only losers tonight were the fans who watched this shit because we lost. We lost 5 hours of our lives. What y'all think in the comments? Hit the like button, hit the hype button, subscribe to the channel, follow us on social media. Appreciate y'all as always. It's Her Game, Her Way Women's Basketball, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. Come on now.